Hello guys, it's Darksigner here from the German Duel Masters channel. Welcome back to another video. Today I got the IDC 22 finals for you guys between Life for Life at the top of your screen playing Hydro Hurricane and Halfa at the bottom of your screen playing Light Water Nature Alcadias. It looks basically like Light Water Nature tribal aggro, but it has an Alcadias top end, which I think is a really cool and new idea, new spin on Alcadias, because like before we had like merino colors Alcadias from Raz. We saw like turbo builds that are just like light nature and try to ramp into Alcadias as fast as possible. And Halfa's deck basically looks a bit more like a standard aggro-y mid-range deck that plays Ularus as the only bait for Alcadias, and then has Alcadias to lock out control decks out of the game, or like be a double breaker in your overall aggro game plan. As you see, Halfar is going super aggressive here, attacking with his Emerald Life with 2 cloned Nightmares back to back, which is nice for him, getting that discard of 3 cards for 2. And here you see, Alcadias and Ularus did get discarded, so Halfa is very low on cards in hand, and now swaps Mistrias in hopes that this will replenish his hand again. Let's see if Life can deal with it. If he does, I think the game could be pretty much over here at this point, because Life has all the card advantage, only lost 1 shield, but he has to pass, so no like miraculous snare for the Rias, and probably doesn't want to commit a body onto the board so that Halfa doesn't draw anything. Let's see, maybe a Terror Pit this turn. No, nothing. 2 passes in a row from Life, that's rough, but also 2 passes from Halfa in a row, top ticking Aqua Surfer and Holy Ore, which he didn't have enough mana for. Like, Holy Ore wouldn't be useful anyway. Another pass, not even charging from Life. That's really rough. I don't know what his hand is that he doesn't even want to charge anything. That's really suspicious. But yeah, Halfa getting that draw and immediately switching on the offensive again, not waiting, and yeah, says you better have an answer for Mistrias, otherwise I will just attack through. He calls Guardians with Petrova, which is good for Halfa because his Mistrias is the same power as Laura Giga, so he can just run through it, like force him to trade, or the Mistrias go through if he wants to block the other guys with Laura Giga. Yeah, Halfa having a lot of card advantage here back due to Mistrias drawing him 2 more cards. Like, it already drew 3 cards. Like, it lived way too long. And looking at Life's mana zone, I see the Tajimal again. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it, and like Life's version is a bit more anti-aggro with more blockers, but in this case, for this specific value-based aggro that Halfa plays, you would rather have like miraculous snares that I would call standard version of Hydro Hurricane plays, like the more control version, because yeah, snare can also be good against aggro, removing bodies, but also is good versus stuff like Mistrias that needs to be answered immediately. And yeah, there's game 1 for Halfa. Yeah, which is not too surprising after 3 turns have passed without doing anything for Life. That Mistrias just carried the whole game here. let's see if Life can draw a better hand this time. Maybe his hand was just bricked with stuff that only fuels Rias but doesn't answer it. Like, yeah, obviously it didn't have any answers in it, but I guess it was probably a lot of cheap to mid blockers that don't do anything, because you would just give Alpha more draws with Rias. Alpha with no turn 2 play, but I don't think it's really necessary because Life already has a blocker on board, so going super aggressive here with like a mushroom turn 2 doesn't make much sense. You need to build your board and then like go in with one swing from like a Holy Awe, I assume, because yeah, no way you're rushing through that early blocker wall that Life already built here with Laura, Giga and Skito. Because one thing about Hypha's build, the cards aren't really that powerful, like stat wise. They gain a lot of advantage, like Hulkus and Rias and Skysword, but they are very small. So yeah, they have problems against the blocker wall that Life is presenting, and also in theory against Fire Mass removal, but you circumvent that like burst shot with Alcadias that you have. So if you see like you use Ularus to spy the shields, and if you see like a burst shot, you can just evolve it to play around that. Yeah, Ularus overall a very underrated card. Yeah, the cost to power ratio isn't great, but also it isn't the worst. Like for 5 mana, you'd expect like maybe already like a boss monster, but if you compare it to like Fal or Petrova, it's decently sized with 4.5k, and yeah, the ability is like Estol but with upside. So the more creatures you have, the more shields you can look at, and yeah, that's pretty good for an overall like deck that tries to win by going into shields and not having like an alternate win condition that plays around triggers. So by just seeing all the shields, yeah, you can just play around the triggers accordingly, which is nice. I kind of like the approach because the other 5-drop angel commands, like Ares is really meta dependent. Like if you see a lot of darkness creatures, but most decks play darkness for their spells, not the creatures, then it would be good. Oh, and we see the first Alcadeas drop. That's nice. And attacking the crystal memory because it's dead now. That's crazy. I also don't see how Life outs it. Like the only out without spells, like Miraculous Snare can't target Alcadeas because it's an Evo. You only out it by playing Glena and Petrova and boosting it and then crashing. That's the only out. Otherwise, Hydra Hurricane can't do anything against the Alcadeas that Alpha presents here. Also, he can boost up his blockers high enough so they can block him. That's another option, of course. What I wanted to say earlier about the Ularus, like Ares is too specific and not as good as like Photosite, its counterpart, because light creatures are way more common. And the other option you have for 5 mana is the Valkyrie, the 5 mana 7k blocker. And that's not good if, like, it's only good if you evolve it, then it becomes an attacker. Otherwise, its only upside is that, like, Rush can't kill it with Volcanic Arrows and Comet Missile. But otherwise, it's not that great. Like, Ularus is an attacker regardless of if you evolve Alcadeas on top of it. So I like Halfa's choice here. Definitely, yeah, made a cool deck and managed to get to the final. Like, that's crazy with Alcadeas. Like, Of course, you need a bit of luck involved as well, but Alcaraz is so strong versus controls. I can see that he beat all his control opponents by just dropping Alcaraz early, and they couldn't deal with it. And then, like, the aggro opponents really have problems with just the light nature water shell, like Bud and Sky Sword. If you can spam them and recycle them with like the Sky Sword with Soul Swaps, and you have like the best trigger versus Russian aggro and Aqua Surfer. Yeah, you just have a good defensive core that supports Alcaraz there, so I can see how Halfa did well with this build. And yeah, let's see if maybe some more people give it a shot instead of like the standard light water nature tribal deck with like more initiate or beast folk focus. Yeah, Halfa looking at the last few shields with Ularus last turn and breaking 2, bringing out the locomotive on purpose. I don't know if that's good, but I agree. Yeah, you don't want to give Petrova to life because that's one of the only ways your Alcaraz gets outed. And yeah, he could attack here. Yeah, because you try to force out the Skeetos, I guess. That's an interesting play, getting rid of a blocker. And I wouldn't even attack here with Alcaraz, to be honest. Just don't give him the Petrova. And wait for next turn where you maybe have 3 attackers. You can draw into a removal for a blocker or like Holy Awe. Go safely for game. Like with this game state, as long as Alpha keeps 2 creatures and he draws an Holy Awe, it's game over. So yeah, he's in a very good position. Yeah, I don't know. Now, of course, now Holy Awe with just 1 creature wins him the game, so I can see the decision. Yeah, I maybe would have just blocked if I was live here, just to preserve the last shield. Like if you can deal with Ularus and Hulkus, you still have that 1 shield safety against Holy Awe. And yeah, Guardians are pushed right now. Let's see if the Hulkus, yeah, even if it draws into Holy Awe, it doesn't have enough mana. and Hulkus into Bud, that's nice. Making the board very wide. I wouldn't attack here because he can just jump block with like Skeeto against Alcaraz and Hulkus would just die. Yeah, I think I would just pass here, and Halfard does exactly that. Really rough spot here for life, because one thing Halfard also does with not attacking is not leaving Alcaraz tapped. So if he attacked and it was tapped, Glena would just trade it. So yeah, because with the 4k push, Glena goes from 8-5 to 12-5 and would just clear it. So yeah, because Halfa couldn't go for game last turn, it doesn't make sense to like put your win condition into tapped state and leaving it vulnerable to the only out that the opponent has. And now life would need like Glena and Holy Awe, but he can't do this turn because like the mana amount is too low, and also he needs more blockers to even survive next turn. Yeah, I think Live's only game plan here would be to play more blockers, which he does with Belix, and Holy Awe is a nice, like, on one hand you want to save it to have an out against Alcadeas if you get to the Glenar, but on the other hand, yeah, I can see that clearing 3 creatures here is just a little bit too good of a thing to not do. Like, yeah, Petrova, you can trade with Loco and Bud, and then you can go with Petrova and Fal over the 2 Hulkers, and then you still have like 4 blockers that can save your Petrova, and then yeah, against Holy Awe you lose either way, you know. What can you do? I think this is the one thing that Life has to live with, that he like at any point loses to Holy Awe. Oh, that Belix was just played. That doesn't have speed attacker. Yeah, goes in with the Laura Giga instead. Does he want to keep the Petrova untapped or even attack shields with it? I don't know, but I would. Yeah, it probably doesn't matter if you have one less blocker, but like, yeah, I don't see how Halfa gets double removal. Okay, he wanted to keep the Locomotive alive as another attacker, so I can understand that. But with 3 creatures, yeah, next turn it's like a 3-turn clock. Next turn he can take out 3 shields and then hope he survives, and then the following turn attack with the 3 attackers again and go for game. Like, the only downside is you also lose to Holy Awe and shields. Oh, just a single attack. I don't know if I would have done that, to be honest. Because that doesn't increase the clock. Like, you don't take a turn off the clock. It's still a 2-turn clock from now on. Unless he has Glenar in hand and can evolve it on Laura Giga next turn and then go for game. But if he doesn't have Glenar, this move doesn't make any sense. And hoping for Glenar, I don't know if that's the right move, to be honest. Yeah, you lose to Holy Awe in shields as well, but the one good thing is like the Soul Swaps are dead, but 3 are in mana, so the last one being in shields isn't, I don't know, too likely. And yeah, Surfer still works, so still very tough for Life here. Okay, yeah, no Glenar, so you see it's still a 2-turn clock from now on. There's the Holy Awe, and that's game. Holy Awe and shields was game either way, even with like, yeah, then you need Glenar that recovers into another Holy Awe and another Surfer and shields. So yeah, congrats to Halfa for winning an IDC with Alcadeas. What an incredible feat. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and yeah, see you guys at the next one.